Happy October, everyone. Thought I would get out here while the sun is shining, and the garden team has been at work this week, and take a look at what the garden's looking like in October. Winter is on the way, and there isn't a whole lot growing, so some of the beds are empty, so this shouldn't take as long. Just refilled this bed this week. It had pumpkins in it, and now I'm going to be putting some seeds in there. I'll show you that in a bit. All 8 of these beds are empty now. They had potatoes and basil, something else previously. I did leave some of the bell peppers in here that are still producing. That's just leftover basil. But those are emptied, and we will be topping them off with compost in the coming weeks for next spring. This wall has green beans. The deer have been nibbling the outside edge during the night, but that's okay. I've already gotten one huge harvest off of here and processed those. The rest I'm thinking of just leaving and saving for seed because I really don't need more green beans. I have plenty. And the chickens will love the greens also. This had tomatoes earlier. Still kind of messy. Woo! Look over here. This is exciting. My husband poured a concrete slab for us to have our compost, the mushroom compost, delivered and stored on. That way we don't keep losing so much soil to the ground and runoff. So that should save us some money over time. Very excited about that. Had more compost delivered just this week. The fall burn pile. This has carrots. I have put a few spinach seeds in here just to fill the space in. It had more carrots on the backside, but the deer. This is strawberries that I don't want anymore, so we still have to weed eat this and then top it with some soil for winter. Got spinach planted in here. I did one planting and they hardly came up. Like I got one spinach, so I put more seeds in there. This is where squash was, peppers, lots of basil. You'll see that at the end when we get there. These were all volunteer pepper plants that I took sprouts from and spread around the garden in different spots, but I've been getting lots of great pimentos off of here. In 2024, I had a bunch of pimento peppers. So one obviously fell and dropped seeds here. I've gotten more pimentos this year than ever before. Strawberry transplants from my main wall up front. Strawberries I do want to keep because they grow well and they're delicious. And I just have the netting on there to keep the deer from nibbling on the outside, which they've already done once. And leftover weeds and spaghetti squash or vegetable squash. This just had peppers, and everything else is growing in here is a volunteer. So there's volunteer potatoes, leftover onions or volunteer onions from the spring. And we had sweet potatoes in this bed earlier, and they draped over and rooted. So there's a few more sweet potatoes growing in here, which I don't need. I've got plenty of sweet potatoes, but I will keep harvesting more of these peppers until frost comes. This bed is currently empty. Just topped it off this week, and I'm going to be putting seeds in here also. This is one of my lettuce plants. I have lettuce in 3 different stages right now, and I'm getting ready to do another batch of lettuce to keep having that. Just topped this bed off and it's empty. Oh, no, it's not empty. I put spinach seeds in here yesterday, so I need to water that. This is the last productive tomato plant that I have. Everything else I've ripped out, so I'm still getting some cherry tomatoes off of this for different salads and meals each day. And this is what remains of the asparagus. In a few more weeks, my husband will come out with the flamethrower and just burn all those fronds down. And then once he burns those down, then we will top the beds off with compost to the top of the meadow. This is how much they sunk down since the spring. Everything green has been ripped out of these. There's a few weeds still coming up, but they were strawberries all summer. We ripped them all out and I'm not doing anything else with the bed this winter. I'll top it off in the spring and decide what to put on there then. This wall bed is where we chose to plant our garlic this year. So the garlic starts here and goes all the way down in 4 rows. And there's garlic coming up in this bed, which is where we had it last year, but they're volunteers. So I'm letting them grow. These were broccoli transplants from the broccoli that I started up there. There were so many of them that I went ahead and transplanted them. These seem to be doing okay, and I believe it's because the transplanting usually sets plants back for a week or two. So these have not tried bulking yet because the setback made it so they didn't start really developing until after more of the warmth was gone. Whereas some of the broccoli up there, I'll show you, is already bulking. But this is our garlic for this year. Little babies coming up. Garlic can handle the cold in the winter. It can handle a frost. It can actually die back once and still grow back up in the spring. So fall is the time to get your garlic in, about 30 days before your first expected frost. This is my current kale patch. I'm going to be adding more. Ooh, look at that guy. Ready? I'm going to tell him to get off my kale. Get off my kale. All right, this is one spinach plot that I've been harvesting from and eating. I have added more seeds in to some of the empty spots to try and fill this bed up some more. This is my 3rd planting of lettuce. It's been going for a few weeks. And this is another planting of spinach that did not germinate well, but it's because it's been too warm. So just a few days ago, I put more seeds in, and look, I can already see them coming up. Let's see. You see those little green sprouts down there? So I need to water this as soon as I put the phone down. So that's my transplanted broccoli with garlic volunteers coming up. A lot of the volunteers are because our garlic didn't do well this year. It was too wet when they needed to come to full harvest. And the hardnecks ended up flowering and dropping seeds. So we basically have no hardneck garlic that we preserved for winter, but we have lots of babies that have self-seeded. So the wall is basically all soft neck because we didn't have any hardneck, I don't believe, to plant there. My husband did that, not me. But we're hoping that all these little babies in this bed are the hardneck that we'll see next spring. This has been emptied out. It was mostly flowers this year with 1 tomato plant and some watermelon down at the end. I'm just storing my leftover hoses here right now. This is the cauliflower row, and I'm so glad we're having a long fall. So I should get plenty of cauliflower. There is some bug activity, but I don't care. They can enjoy their part. These are volunteer potatoes because I had potatoes in these rows in the spring, so I must have missed a few. This is what's left in the strawberry towers. I'm going to be transplanting those strawberries into a wall later. Dahlias. And then these are broccoli. So they're 2 different varieties of broccoli, just like the cauliflower are 2 different varieties of cauliflower. I showed that in a previous video if you want to know which type. But whichever one this is, it's the same kind that I've transplanted down the hill, but you'll see down here, and they're a little bit packed. I should have thinned them a little bit more, but we're going to seed already. I wonder what he is. Anybody know? You want to tell me? Yellowish brown caterpillar, spiky hair. So this variety is going to seed. The chickens will love those greens. Strawberry transplants with lots of little weeds that I need to be pulling. This is a very pleasurable thing to do on a fall day, especially a warm fall day. Today's supposed to only be up in the 60s. But all these little weeds came in with the compost. So once I get them out of here, as long as I don't let them go to seed, they'll be fewer and fewer and I won't have to worry about them. But I just expanded this strawberry bed that was here, and I took transplants from here for the wall way over there. I actually want more strawberries. I'm just debating on what walls to use right now. I don't want strawberries on the ground. It's just more pleasant to pick them up high. And this is the other variety of broccoli on this side that does not seem to be going to seed, with a few volunteer potatoes in between. So I hope I get a decent broccoli harvest to add to my freezer. They won't last long in the freezer. They'll be eaten up pretty quickly. But as far as the seeds that I'm going to be adding in that long wall down there and in this bed here, let me show you those. Forgot to show you this one last wall bed. This is my oldest lettuce. You can see where I've been picking stuff out from the middle. So that's been being used on smoothies and salads and sandwiches. So I'll finish this off. Then we'll be eating from that lettuce. Then we'll be eating from the lettuce. Where is it at? Over here. And as far as the seeds I'm planting, I'm going for a winter lettuce so that it can stand the cold a little better, the frost anyway, and I will have it under cover to help it last as long as possible. And I'm doing the giant winter spinach in these beds. So far, all my other beds of spinach and seeds have been Bloomsdale longstanding, but I'm going with giant winter spinach for this planting, and then some of my own kale seeds that I've saved, and that's what I have growing down there. So I just want to have lots and lots of greens ready for super green smoothies all winter. And this is what the garden is looking like on October 9th. There's just some more pepper plants. I didn't want to rip them out yet and empty the whole bed because they're still putting off some good peppers. This big wall bed, which had sweet potatoes in it all summer, has now been replanted with kale and spinach. So since that's the south, that way, so all winter the sun's going to be coming this direction, I put 2 rows of spinach on the outside since that grows a little bit shorter, and then 2 rows of kale on this side, on either side of the irrigation, since the kale grows taller. That way it won't shade the spinach. And I'll come back in another month and we'll see how well this planting has sprouted up. And I have this bed planted now as well. 3 rows of each. I did lettuce from the brick down, 3 rows, and then spinach from the brick this way, 3 rows. So hopefully that will give me plenty of greens to go through the winter. Hope you're having a great October. Every day is a joyful day with Jesus. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later.